I saw your love the other day, Yeah. But the moment I click the button, I feel so bad while you're showing me the sign. So this is sending it back to you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for coming back. And this is ACI 6. We are on class 6. Today is the 16th of April, 2026. So let's start off with setting our motivation. And invite you to get ready, close your eyes. Bring your attention to your breath until you hear from me again. Just be aware of your breath. Think about the problems that you're facing in your life. We have learned in class 1 to class 5 how we can collect extraordinary goodness, how we can accelerate all the goodness by doing everything that we do with wisdom. The understanding of emptiness makes our deed more powerful. We become a perfectionizer, bringing us to this state of perfection, a state that is free from all the problems that we see in our life right now. And so hold that intention in your mind. We are in ACI 6, Dharmakata Sutra. And what we learn is the bridge that brings us to the other side, to go beyond, to be free from this life, this problem that we see in our life. With that, we can truly become one who is able to help others in a deep and ultimate way, a way through which they can stop that distress forever. So hold this intention in mind. And there's no payment for that class. And so we offer the perfect world through the offering of the mandala as a payment for the class. We'll help create a perfect world with what we learn. Here is great earth, filled with the smell of the incense, covered with a blanket of flowers. The great mountain four lands, wearing a jewel of the sun and the moon. In my mind, I make them the paradise of the Buddha. And I offer to you, by this deed, may every living being experience pure world. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamyatayami. Go for refuge and them enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that we do in giving the rest. May we reach Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. For refuge and them enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community through the merit that we do in giving the rest. May we reach Buddhahood for the sake of all beings. Go for refuge and them enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the highest community. Through the merit that we do in giving and the rest, we will become a Buddha for the sake of all beings. And may it be so. Bring your mind back here when you're ready. Okay, we want to do revision. And if we finish our revision, then we can do chapter 6. So we start with chapter 1. Okay, who can tell me? Let me see. Diamond Cutter Sutra. We are learning Diamond Cutter Sutra, ACI 6. What is a Sanskrit word and what is a Tibetan word? Anybody want to just unmute? You can just type in the chat if you remember. Why I'm asking that is because I saw this is the question in the final exam. So it's good for us to keep on repeating it. Then when you do the exam, it'll be easy. Oh, sounds familiar. Just like the 乘法表, the multiplication table that we learn in school. Yes, Jasmine is correct. Jenny, half correct. Vajrachadika. Yeah, Vajrachadika. Good. And Jaslyn say the Tibetan chupa, doje chupa. Okay, it's doje chupa. Great. Yay. Okay, so just meant doje chupa, doje chupa, doje chupa. Okay. Vajrachadika, Vajrachadika, Vajrachadika. You hear long enough, then when you see for the final exam, you don't have to memorize. They just come to you. You just know it naturally. Like, I don't need to know Raymond, what is his surname? I know it's Raymond Kwa. Things like that, you just know it. Why? I just know it, yeah. Okay, good. Laura and Daniel. Okay, who can tell me? There are 3 reasons Why we use diamond to represent emptiness? You can just give me one. Okay, out of the three, one person can give one, or if you're okay, you can give three, I'm fine. Why we use diamond to represent emptiness? Jenny says, because they're clear. Yeah, they're very clear. You know, diamond is like a transparent, they say transparent. What is that, huh? Transparent. Yeah. Just like emptiness. Okay? It's transparent. If there is a diamond wall in front of me, I don't know. I knock myself on it. I knock, just like emptiness is everywhere, but I cannot see. It's transparent. Invisible. I like the word Jasmine say invisible. Okay, the next reason, someone say hardest. Okay, Lynn say hardest. Laura and Daniel say closest thing to strongest. Yeah, it's the closest thing to ultimate. Ultimate. Okay, KL Wong put it very well. Diamond is the hardest thing in our world, in our reality, in our universe. Okay, something so close to ultimate, and therefore we use it to represent ultimate reality. Okay, and number three. Well, three will be Jasmine say 100%. Lynn say pure. Yeah, it's 100% pure diamond, every sliver of that. If you break that diamond into pieces, every sliver is 100% diamond. Just like everything in our world, 人事物, every person, everything, every situation is 100% empty of self-nature. Yes, okay, I won't say 100% pure, even you break down to the finest particle. 100% pure diamond, just like everyone. So something happened to our life when things get really tough, very challenging. The practice is to see that how that is also 100% empty of not coming from my projection. And that's very tough. Okay. And that's really very tough. Okay. And that's a practice. So we appreciate everything in our life, everything that happened in our life as a training ground. I have a board meeting tomorrow and it's very challenging, okay? So, and then sometimes I kind of forget that it's coming from me. How can that come from me? So it's a practice ground of how I become a better person, how I can use wisdom, skillful means, you know, and without that, I think I'm very good, you know, oh, I'm so good already, you know, but with that, then you know where you are, okay? Like you're being thrown a bit off balance, then you must have the tool to how to come back to a balanced mind. And then only I act, then only I respond. Okay, so it is a practice. So today very challenging. I don't want to deal with anything, but there's so many phone calls, you know, my condo got problem, the management office, you know. So I take a deep breath. Okay, take a deep breath. And it's really challenging. I keep on, you know, like, you know, it's like a practice ground. It's a practice ground. Yeah, so I'm very thankful with that, even though I'm not very happy, but they help me. They help me to put into practice. You know, when one after another, so many things happening. I'm trying to avoid that. I say, oh, today is my bad day because I'm also very superstitious. I go see calendar. Okay, today is my conflict day. Yeah, I don't want to handle anything, you know. So normally conflict day, I'm very low profile. But then there are things that I have to handle. So it's like, how can I remember that it's 100%? Yeah, it's my projection. Okay, it's in my mind. You know how I see how my mind conceptualize that. You know, putting story to that. Yeah. So it's very interesting, okay? Very interesting. But it's very challenging. I see myself, how my tension arising. You can see the feeling. I say, oh, don't identify with that, okay? You don't get involved. You see that as a seeds ripening, okay? Not get involved with that. You can feel the sensation, but you don't act on the sensation. So now it's I'm very happy that I can see my own sensation and not act on that. Okay, it's very challenging. And that sensation is not me. Okay, seat straightening, like what Laura said, that's not me. That's just my seat straightening. Oh, thank you so much, Laura and Daniel. Okay, thank you. Okay, so those are the three reasons why diamond is used to represent emptiness for an aria who see emptiness directly. The very first thing when they come out of this direct perception emptiness, they are trying to find something to remind them of their experience. And that is a diamond. Okay, so this is also in your final exam question. Diamond, cutter, the next one, cutter. We cannot say diamond sutra. We have to include the word cutter. The cutter is very, very important. Why? Laura is always very sweet. Thank you so much. Cutter. Cutter is a very challenging. For many years, I don't quite understand the cutter, I don't quite understand the cutter. It takes a long time for me to finally understand that. Lin say emptiness can cut the hardest thing, diamond. Why? Why emptiness can cut the diamond? Somebody say mistaken. Yes. You recognize that what you perceive is mistaken. Okay, even though we say we use diamond to represent emptiness, but we also know someone who see emptiness directly and aria, they know that is a lower kind of ultimate. It is a lesser kind of ultimate. It is not that close at all. Really, it's just a metaphor, just a metaphor to represent emptiness. It's not that close at all. Why? Why is not that close at all? Yeah, I like what Jasmine said. It is nowhere close to the ultimate reality. It is insufficient to describe emptiness. Yes, for an aria, it is not sufficient to describe emptiness. Why? Okay, diamond, K.L. Wong say diamond is just a metaphor. Yeah, because it cannot represent the ultimate reality. It's not that close at all. Cutter is lesser kind of ultimate. Diamond is a lesser kind of ultimate. And so to prevent us to be mistaken, we need to include cutter. When you perceive emptiness is untouchable, yes, you're right. What is his name? I don't know. Australia Tiger Team.
It's me.
Okay.
My click Zoom lah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like what Jasmine say. The diamond is cut or outdone by emptiness. Yes. The metaphor of the diamond, diamond, we say diamond represent emptiness, right? But for an aura who see emptiness directly, that metaphor that we just said earlier on is cut, is outdone by emptiness, by ultimate reality. Okay, we finish chapter 1. I want to show the slide for a while. So this is the one. And this one. And we end chapter 1 with this question that Subhuti asked Lord Buddha. How should a bodhisattva live? How should a bodhisattva practice? How should a bodhisattva think? So that we finished chapter 1. Now we are going into chapter 2. In other words, how should a bodhisattva think and act? So chapters 2 start with Lord Buddha answering this question. Lord Buddha say, oh, as a bodhisattva, this is how you should think. You bring all living beings that you call living beings, means that you label living beings, those born from tick, 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 and tick. You're going to bring them all to Nirvana. And when you bring all of them to Nirvana, even if you manage to bring them all to Nirvana, nobody was brought to Nirvana at all. Because we are thinking of them in a self-existent way. Okay? And the whole thing, we'll go into detail shortly. Okay, one more. Show one more first. Because we are thinking of them in a self-existent way. And chapter 2 ends with this important note that we cannot call a person a bodhisattva if the person is still holding on to things as self-existent, if the person is still grasping to things as having some self-nature of their own, if we are still thinking that things exist naturally, truly, on their own, okay, we cannot call them a bodhisattva. And therefore, the important note here is to tend to you as a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva, someone with the bodhicitta. The bodhicitta must be imbued with emptiness, the two wings of the bird. Okay, with just one wing is not complete. The importance of the wish must come with emptiness, the wisdom, which means that a bodhisattva is someone who understands, who truly realize that things have no self-nature of their own. Then only we can call that person a bodhisattva. I find that chapter 2 is the most important. Chapter 2, if you understand, then you will be able to understand the rest of the chapters. That's why chapter 2, if you notice, I took 2 lessons. I took 2 lessons to cover chapter 2. Because chapter 2, the underlying, the core message is so important. It will help us in our life. It is practical, and the same, how should I put it? It applies to the rest of the chapters. I took so long to prepare chapter 2, for months and months. Even I finished already, I keep on looking at it in different angle. I meditate on that, and I think about how to deliver on this chapter. Okay, so in chapter 2, there's one thing that's very important. Gaccha. Gaccha. What is gaccha? The object we deny. What is that? You want to type in the chat anything that come to your mind, object we deny, the gotcha. Yeah, Jenny say the two-headed purple elephant. Jenny, you know or not? This two-headed purple elephant for a long time I don't understand, but really, so, I can tell this is the guy, but I don't know why they use this two-headed purple elephant. Yeah. Finally, only I understand. It is something that we think is there, but they are not actually there. Can never be there. KL Wong say the object that we deny is independent from our projection. Yes. Laura and Daniel, the thing that is not coming from our seed. Yes. Jasmine said, a thing that is not coming from my projection. Correct. Yes. So that is the core message. If you notice our whole life, like me, okay, have always been holding on to things as having some nature of their own, independent from my projection. I didn't realize about that, okay? Always holding on to that. And then you learn about this, then you start to observe your own reality, how your mind really think. Again, maybe sometimes you catch it, sometimes you forget. Then the more you practice and learn and study, then you find, oh, how much in my life every day I'm holding on things as independent from my projection. But it is a path. So long you improve, you have to be happy yourself. Yeah, not say I'm perfect, but I'm improving. Okay, I can see more and more of that. Yeah, sometimes I know. Okay, how your mind is thinking like, oh, it is different. It is nothing to do with my projection. It sounds very absurd, right? But that's how my mind thinks. Yeah. Something good that is from our own effort, then we know, oh yeah, it's coming from my projection. Something that is not pleasant, something we don't like the result, we kind of like hold on to is the result. It is something that is nothing to do with my projection. It's nothing to do with my projection. Yeah. And one more very important thing in chapter 2, when you talk about gacha, the other side of that, I personally like to talk about how they exist. Okay. Keep on working on that now. We say how they exist, which is one is the emptiness, right? Gacha is what emptiness is empty of. You have to work on that sentence. You have to bring to your meditation. I don't understand that for many, many years. Okay. The other side opposite of that is we say how that things that exist, they are nothing but our label. Label here, not just simply, oh, I can label anything I want. I can label Jenny. It's not like that. I'm forced by my karma. I'm forced by my projection to chocolate sauce Jenny in a certain way, to perceive her in a certain way. So we say the label can be just name and also how she functioned for me. Okay. Not just I can put any name. In another word, I like Kashila, he's very, he used like the word, the mental image. When you say label is a mental image that come from the mind. How the mental image that come from our mind, where the mental image come from how we treat others in the past. Kashila always say that, isn't it? We'll come to that in chapter 6 today, if we got the time. So that also I took many, many long time to really finally put the pieces together. So when we say labor, really we are talking about how it's coming from the mental image in our mind, from how we treat others in the past. The label also means chocolate sauce, how we chocolate sauce that. So I would strongly, of all the topics, I strongly say that spend more time on chapter 2. Trust me. I spent so long for chapter 2 while preparing for this class. Yeah, I took so long really, and I meditate for it so many times. Yeah. So chapter 2 again. We continue from chapter 1. How should a bodhisattva act and live? So Lord Buddha's answer we know, isn't it? Okay. I will take a bodhisattva, take all living beings to nirvana. All those living beings that you call living beings means from your projection. That you call living beings, that you label living beings, bring them all to nirvana. Even if you manage to bring them all to nirvana, nobody was brought to nirvana. If we are thinking of them as gacha. How things exist, the other side of that, the other side of the coin. Okay, so work on your chapter 2. Chapter 2 is the key to the rest of the thing. Yeah. Chapter 2 is very, very useful. Yes, thing exists. Kia Wong say, thing exists through our label. Yeah, which is our projection. So chapter 2 tells us the importance of bodhisattva should be someone who see or who believe. Sorry, I should rephrase again. If you call someone a bodhisattva, they would be someone who would not be grasping to things as having some self-nature of their own. And that brings us to chapter 3. Your chapter 2 okay not? Any question on chapter 2 before I move to chapter 3? Jasmine Go say, is dependent origination label. Okay, dependent origination depends on the school we are talking about. Okay, so basically we can say there are 3 groups. One is the functionalist. The dependent origination for them will be how things exist. They have their cause and conditions. Okay, the second school, we call it what's it called? Independent school. Wait, let me see. Functionalist. Yeah, independent school. How things exist. Things exist in dependence upon their parts. 50%, 50, 50-50 school. Okay. There are some raw data there which have some nature of their own. And then the other 50% come from me. We are in the higher school where how things exist in dependence upon our projection. 100% our projection, 100% our label. Then you say, what? What about those raw data? It seems that the raw data have some nature of their own, right? But even the raw data is coming from us. And that's easy to understand if you look at the dog and the chew-top, the puppy and the human, right? Different realm. You see the different raw data. The raw data seems to have some nature of their own. But by being in the human realm, this is my good seeds, right? My good karma for me to be thrown into this human realm to see this as a pen. To see this raw data that I take in, I see the parts that I see that make them pen. But the raw data is also empty. How I know? A puppy look at it differently. A Tarzan look at it differently. I don't know, maybe we learn enough to say, remember the 3 beings looking at the a glass of water with the three parts. Okay, that is the key to the Pan story. Pan story. That Kushila talk about the Pan story, right? So you can look at that again in that class. I think it's ACI 5, class 6, chapter 6. Okay, so we are in the higher school. Okay, so dependent origination for us will be our projection. Another words will be your name and term. Another word will be your label. Another word will be the mental picture that come from your mind that then lay on the things, make it pen for you. Pen for the perceiver. Next one will be chapter 3. And that leads us to this one. We say a bodhisattva is someone who do not grasping to things as self-existent. A bodhisattva do not believe that things have some self-nature of their own. And therefore, that bodhisattva, when they perform the act of giving, they perform the act of giving without staying in things. And without staying in things means without believing that the three sphere, remember that day we learned the three sphere? Without believing the me who is doing the giving have any self-nature of their own. The one I'm doing the giving to has any self-nature of their own. The thing that is being given have any self-nature of their own. The thing, the giving activity itself have any self-nature of their own. Okay, they don't believe it, they don't hold on to that self-grasping. Okay, they don't see it, they don't see that. And if they don't see that, what is so big deal? Very big deal. Okay, if they don't see that, how big deal is that? Wow, it's very, very big deal. The big deal thing is, Lord Buddha give the example. If you do like this, Lord Buddha give the example, then give the example. Oh, Subhuti, if you measure the space from here to the east, is it easy to measure or not? Subhuti said no. What about north, south, east, west, 10 direction? Not easy to measure. That's it. If you do the act of giving without staying, then the giving that we do is immeasurable. It's not easy to measure like this one, like this example. Just like this example is not easy to measure. So Lord Buddha give the example to show us, when you do the act of giving without staying, just like the bodhisattva, is a big deal. Because the mountains of merit is not easy to measure. And that mountain of merit that is not easy to measure, what is the big deal? What is the big deal? The very big deal. The mountain of merit that is not easy to measure can bring you the 4 bodies of the Buddha. Specifically for act of giving will be the physical body of the Buddha, Rupakaya. Okay, which will give you the physical body of the Buddha. Because we want to know what is the big deal. Okay, so what? Okay, if I do the act of giving without saying, so what is the big deal? Or you say not easy to measure. Okay, so you will have this type of bodies. Isn't it a big deal compared to the body that I have right now? The body that I feel so much tension, that is aging, that is feeling pain, right, here and there. What is happening to this body? What is this mind that is not happy? Okay, the mind that's not satisfied, that is disappointed, that is upset. Okay, what if you have that kind of body and mind that is perfect? Isn't it great? Yeah, so this is the big deal. That is a big deal. And this is difficult for me to teach to the young students. Why? Because their body, their body is so fit, okay? They are so happy at their age. You don't know how to show them what is wrong with that, you see. It's so difficult. I also don't know, you see. Okay. Yeah. But I think when you live long enough, at certain point in time when you have problems in your life, okay, then we will. So sometimes we have to thank the people who make us like upside down. Okay. Right. Otherwise, you don't think it's a big problem, isn't it? You think that, yeah, I always can get my way. Okay. I use money, I can get my way. I use my contact, I can get my way. Okay. I do this, I can get my way. You know, I have this thing, I can get my way. Right. There'll come a time. Okay. Some people don't give a damn to what you say. Okay. They don't give you face. Okay. They may really, wow, sometimes you really have to thank them. You know, really, I have one person in my life like this. Okay. I keep him very close. Mm, my love. Okay. So it's so adorable. Okay. You're happy at the same time, you're pissed off. So that shows you that you cannot get the way you want it to be. Okay. And that is samsara. That is samsara. Okay. And then the body as you age, uh, then you start to find that, oh yeah, it's true. My body is breaking down now. It's breaking down. It is a fact. Yeah, it is a fact. So isn't it a big deal? It's a big deal. So let's talk about the four bodies. Let's talk about the four bodies. Okay, the first body, we call it the emanation body. Okay, let's talk about the physical body, got the emanation enjoyment. Can you tell me the enjoyment body first? I think the enjoyment body is easier to talk about. These four bodies is in your final exam. I'm surprised, when I was a student, I don't understand why they want to put so much importance in that. Yeah, well, so what? It's like just very far, far away. I don't want to know. Okay. What is this enjoyment body? I'm going to type in the chat. Yes, we are talking about the physical body now. Yes, Jasmine said the body of the Buddha in his paradise. Okay. And this body is very special. How special is this body? How special is this body, yeah? Full of light, yeah. They say it's a body full of light. We cannot imagine it's a full of light. Means that they don't have organ. In a way, they don't have something solid, right? They don't have this solid thing and they don't have this organ. Yeah. They don't have this body like my body, this organ that break down solid thing. It's full of light, beautiful light. They say with this exquisite sign. Remember the exquisite sign? The how many sign? The marks and sign on their body. They call it the 32 major signs and 80 minor signs, all come from the collection of merit and wisdom, mainly from the collection of merit that contribute to this physical body. Okay, the next one will be the emanation body. Is very interesting. Emanation body. Can somebody tell me what is the emanation body? I'm going to type in the chat. Emanation body. Yeah. Jasmine said the body that the Buddha emanate, that they send out copy of them to benefit me the most. Yes, copy of the physical form sending to the suffering world, to those with the virtue, those who are ready, because they can only teach us. Remember, they can only teach us with their omniscient mind that know the past, present, and future. Okay, that can see the deceptive reality and the ultimate reality. They know what we need to give up and what we need to take up. And they can only teach us, they can only show us the way. They can only bring us to the place to drink water, but we ourselves have to drink the water. They can give us the medicine, the teaching, but we have to take the medicine ourselves. Okay, there's an emanation body. There's so much to talk about emanation, but I don't want to talk more than that. So we move on to the mind. The mind of the Buddha. Okay, you have this omniscient that we just mentioned just now, the mind that know everything. Because they are so pure, they don't have this obstacle. Remember, there are two obstacles that they clear. One is we call it the bad thought, right? You clear all the bad thought, you reach nirvana. And then there is an obstacles to omniscient. When you clear that, your mind is just aware. Enlightened being is just, they're just aware, awakened. I like to look at it like, like the cloud of things that block us, like my mind. Yeah, once you clear, you purify yourself, you have the eye, you have the wisdom, you got the eye. You're just awakened. That's how I look at it. Then the next one is the essence body, is the emptiness of the other three bodies. The emptiness of the other three bodies. The essence body, the Buddha nature, we call it the Buddha nature, which you and I have, which is the potential. Is blank, is a potential for us to become anything. And therefore, we can become an enlightened being too. Because our nature is such that it's empty of not coming from projection. Same nature. The empty is empty of not coming from projection, the perceiver's projection. And therefore, we have the potential to become an enlightened being too. And we have the potential to become anything. And you can see that when we were a baby, we cannot talk. We cannot walk. Would a baby imagine the baby can, like now, can speak, can run, can do all these things? Impossible. So you have the potential to do that. So, but you cannot see that. Just like I like to say, if you're at the 10th floor, you cannot see what is happening in the 20th floor. So just keep on practicing. Just keep on be on your path, and you will reach the 20th floor. Then you will know, ding. So no need. So I don't like to spend too much time on what is going to happen at the 20th floor. No matter how we look at it, we won't be able to get it correct with our mind, right? The constraint, right? So even if we think we understand, so I think those technical things, I don't want to touch too much on that. Yeah, it's just okay, then just move on. Okay, so those are the four bodies. And then Lord Buddha say, okay, so just now we say, okay, those good deeds that you do, which is not easy to measure, if you do it without staying, that leads to the Buddha's body, the four bodies, which is so pure, no sickness, no unhappiness, just pure and happy and blissful. We want that, isn't it? Yeah, we want that. And so Buddha asks you, so if you see somebody with this exquisite sign on their body, are they a Buddha or not? Can we consider them a Buddha? So Lord Buddha asked Subhuti. Subhuti say, no, we should not consider them as a Buddha. Why? Because they are impossible. They are impossible. And then Lord Buddha go on to say that those marks and signs are deceptive. They are fake. And at the same time, they're also not deceptive. They are fake, they are deceptive, and at the same time, they're also not deceptive. They're also not fake. What does that mean? When you say deceptive, you mean that they deceive you. It looks like the marks and sign coming from their own side. They have some nature of coming from their own side. It looks like the marks and sign can exist truly from their own side, independent of our projection. So they deceive us, isn't it? Yeah, it looks like they can have some nature that exists truly from their own side, independent of our projection, but which is not. Therefore, it is deceptive. At the same time, it is not deceptive. Why? Because they do exist. They do exist as our projection is here. They do exist. If you a Buddha look down, they see their body got this mark and sign. They got this mark and sign. They are forced to see their body got this mark and sign. They are forced by their projection to see the marks and sign on their body that mark them as an enlightened being. And then the last one would be, so the marks and sign, so Lord Buddha says, so you should not see, you should see the one dust gone as having no marks at all. You should see that they have no marks at all. So he mentioned 2 times. So the first time he mentioned no marks, he's referring to the body of the Buddha have no marks. There is no marks that can exist that is not coming from the projection. There's no such thing. There's no mark that can exist on their own side, truly from their own side, with some self nature of their own, independent of the project. No such mark. Don't have. So Lord Buddha want to tell you, no such mark. No such mark that can exist naturally, truly from their own side, independent of the projection of the perceiver. Okay, no such thing. And then second time, he means the no marks is the mind. So as the mind of the Buddha, the omniscient mind, or the other essence body, they are also empty of not coming from projection. Same thing. So it's like the body, it is empty. The marks are empty of not coming from projection. So as the mind is also empty of not coming from projection. There's no such thing. You cannot have the marks that is not coming from projection. And you cannot have the mind that is not coming from projection. Okay? Just that. How can we apply this in our life? So if I think now, there's no sickness. My body is having this frozen shoulder pain. There is no frozen shoulder that is not coming from my projection. That is not coming from my seeds ripening. That is not coming from how I treat others in the past, the mental image, the chocolate sauce, from how I treat others in the past. So I have to learn to take care of other people's health, other people's feeling. So don't blame yourself. You have been here. Okay, these are the past seeds ripening. It's gone. It's okay. And then there is no upset that is not coming from my projection. So if I'm upset, I'm not happy. It looks like outside people can make me angry, right? That there is no upset that is not coming from my projection. It looks like they are the one. I do take in the data, but my mind is the one who process that. And that process is coming from my seeds, right? From how I treat others in the past that ripen for me to process it in a certain way. Probably from some past experience, then you process it in a certain way. So there is no experience that I can experience that is not coming from my projection. There is nothing that I can experience that is not coming from my experience, from my projection. Again, I rephrase that. There is nothing that we can experience that is not coming from our projection. Is there anything that we can experience that is not coming from our projection? Okay, so yeah, so that helps us. That chapter 3, how I relate that in our life. Okay. Whether the good one also the same thing. Okay, let's talk about just now the one not good one. Let's talk about something good. Okay, let's talk about something good. Okay. I'm so proud that I look young. Okay. Okay. A lot of people say I have very good gene. Yeah, coming from my mom look very young. Okay. There's nothing that looks young that is not coming from my projection. Okay. So we have the good and the bad as well. They cannot come from nowhere. It's coming from my projection, something good I've done, for that to be in that situation, for me to chocolate sauce that way, for my environment to put me in that position. Then what about the one is the body, right? Then the mind. Yeah, happy. Sometimes I feel very contented, isn't it? Actually, I'm very straightforward. Everybody who know me well enough, they will say that, Ayo, you believe that kind of thing? Ayo, you're so straightforward. I can't believe you. And then I say, Ayo, you're so innocent. A lot of people always say that I'm very innocent. I say, yeah, I don't know why I'm so innocent. Maybe because I was in the child enrichment business for too long already. And then they say, actually, it's a blessing, Your mind is not tainted, nah. You're so innocent, so pure, I said, oh, I don't know whether good or not, They say actually it's very good because you're very simple-minded. So I have to say that, it's also coming from my good seeds, Yeah, I didn't really go through a lot of all those complicated things, and quite simple-minded. I really believe what people say and then just very straightforward. So that is also coming from my projection, some good seeds ripening. Yeah, so you're very contented. You're very simple and contented. You have that. I got a choice, but to me, this is how I like to live a simple life. Yeah, you're happy with that. You're very happy with that. So it's also, so everybody got the good and bad. Don't just think about the good, not good one. Okay, you can also find something good about yourself. I'm sure there's something good, right? And also something not so good. Yeah, both also coming from our projection. Okay. Okay, then we go to chapter 4. Okay, ready? Chapter 3, any questions? I find that chapter 2 and chapter 3 is very important. Chapter 2 is the most important. Then chapter 4 is something like you can apply in your life. Like, why, when I first studied, I don't understand why you want to talk about the Buddha so much, I don't care damn about that, Okay. Then when you compare, I think the meaning will come when you start to compare. Oh, if there is such kind of a body and mind, then you compare with my body and mind right now, then I can see the difference. I can see the difference. If I never see a pure body and mind, then I think this is normal. Correct or not? We think that kind of suffering, that kind of life is normal. Okay, what? Quite good, what? Yeah, you look at other people, yeah, you see you're quite okay. Yeah. But then you see that it could be better. So chapter 3, any questions? Don't have, then we move to chapter 4. Chapter 4 is on the Buddha's teaching. So Subhuti, after he hear about all these things so profound, he say, what will happen in the future, in the days of the last 500, what is going to happen, the last 500 years, when the Holy Dharma is approaching its final destruction. So here we talk about the last 500. I won't go into the detail. This one is in your final exam, surprisingly. So you have to pick 3 and memorize when you sit for the exam. Now you can forget about it. But just before you sit for the final exam, you just memorize 3. But maybe you can pick 1 right now, okay? You can just pick 1. Okay, this is the one. Okay, just 1. You just need to know 3. They all say different years, but there's no contradiction in the sense that some is referring to the time where there's high realization, some is referring to the time where the physical record of the teaching still remain in the world, some is referring to India, where it's still in the land of origin, is still thriving there, sometimes just to motivate the students so that you appreciate the Dharma more. Okay, and Choni Lama's position is there will be 10 periods of 500 years. So we won't go into that, but this is in your final exam as well. So we want to talk about Dharma. What is Dharma? Okay, Dharma, when you talk about Dharma, it's always in these 3 baskets. Okay, basically in these 3 baskets, which is the Vinaya, morality, or we call ethics. Those that we talk about the top 10 virtues, all those vows, right, which we will learn in ACI 7. And the next one will be the meditative concentration, which is meditation. And then the third one will be wisdom. When you go into deep meditation, then only you can gain an insight into the true nature of reality, which means that you have wisdom, which means that you have eyes. Until then, it is said that we don't have eyes. Okay, we are blind. We don't see the truth, the reality, the truth. We think we know, but we don't know. Okay, so these are the 3 baskets of Lord Buddha's teaching. They can be in terms of classes, right? Books, right? We call it physical Dharma, or they can be in terms of realization in the mind of the practitioner. So these 3 baskets can be Lungichu. Okay, the books, the teaching, the classes, the recording, the scriptures, the lessons, the notes, or they can be tok picture in the mind of the people. You have this realization. It become part of you, it's in your heart. They become real for you. When you hear a teaching, the wisdom, longichu, is someone's wisdom. It is not your wisdom. Until you realize it yourself, until you directly experience it yourself, then it becomes your own wisdom. It becomes a tok picture. And these 3 baskets is very, very important. Very, very important. Okay. Know that Vinaya is the foundation of everything. It is the foundation. We can study a lot, we can serve the teacher, we can be in the Dharma community, but if we don't keep our morality, we can go nowhere. They cannot bring results. Okay. So keeping our morality is the prerequisite. When we keep our morality, then our mind is not disturbed, isn't it? We have clear conscience. Then we can go into meditation. We are able to concentrate. Have you ever fought with somebody or get angry and then you try to meditate? Look at your own mind. Isn't it your mind keep on thinking about that? You feel disturbed, you cannot meditate, you say, oh, focus on the breath. Then you start to thinking about that. Then you get upset, all these things, you start thinking about this and that, You cannot meditate, you cannot concentrate. Oh, you can try that, Okay. And then you see the difference. When you are nice to people, you keep your morality, okay? Okay, and all these things, then you can able to concentrate, focus, and then go into deep meditation. And you need to be able to go into deep meditation in order to go to the third one, wisdom. In order to be able to directly experience, to see the truth, the true nature of reality. That you cannot learn from the textbook. You directly experience that. And you need to go into deep meditation in order to be able to gain an insight into the true nature of reality. By using, number 2 is what we learned, this shamatha, isn't it? What you call that, like a microscope. I like to use that as a microscope. You train your microscope and then you put it to see the reality, wisdom. Okay, then we want to keep the Dharma alive. So long somebody is teaching it correctly with good motivation or someone is practicing it, then we are keeping the Dharma alive. Then we all playing a part. We are all keeping the Dharma alive. Yay! Okay. Okay. So if we do that, what is going to happen? So Subhuti is very worried. He said, what will happen? What is going to happen in the future, in the days of the last 500, when the Holy Dharma is approaching its final destruction? Then Lord Buddha answers something so beautifully, but very, very deep. Lord Buddha said, there will be great beings. There will be great beings. Great bodhisattva will come. There will be great beings, great bodhisattva who possess morality, who possess the 5 quality, who possess the wisdom, which is the 3 basket. They got these 3 things, number 1. Number 2, these are the great beings who have rendered honor not just to one single Buddha, and therefore they have also collected virtue not only from one Buddha. Wow. These are the bodhisattva that will come. So in the last 500, there will be great beings. These great beings possess the 3 basket. They possess the morality, the 5 quality, the wisdom. Number 2, they have rendered honor to not just a single Buddha. In my own words will be, they have served not just one single Buddha, okay? Number 3, and then therefore they have collected virtue not only from one Buddha. And these great beings, remember these 3 things, they do not see these 4 things. I don't like to use the English word. This one I prefer to use the Tibetan word. They don't see Dak, Samchen, Sok, and Gangsak. Remember? This one also memorize that. Okay, don't know the word, never mind. Just say first. Dak, Samchen, Sok, Gangsak. These 4 things. So they don't see Dak. Dak, we know is a self, isn't it? Dak is a self. They don't see there is a self with some nature of their own, independent of projection. It's not that there is no self at all. It's just that there is no self that is not coming from our projection. Your idea of the self. Okay, so there will be this great bodhisattva who don't see these 4 things. The second thing that they don't see is a samchen. Okay, samchen is the mind. That is me, samchen is mind. The mind. What is your mind, your experience? Okay. you don't see that as independent of your projection, that there's some self nature that they exist truly, that is not coming from the perceiver's projection. This one need cooking, okay? This one need cooking, okay? Need to bring, I'm still cooking on that, okay? Finally, only I can put the pieces to the, understand later. Otherwise, I'm totally zero. I cannot catch a single ball. Okay. Okay, soap will be the same, the person, the self, okay? Me and my in this one life. This Rachel in this one life. This one life. This soap, this life, this Rachel's life. There's a, they don't see this, you don't see this Rachel's life that is not coming from projection. You don't see this Rachel's life that has some nature of own that is not coming from my projection moment by moment, moment by moment, moment by moment, seeds ripening moment by moment. And the gangsak is the same thing, but lifetime after lifetime. Okay, the same, this lifetime, one lifetime, isn't it? Another lifetime, another lifetime. There's, it's like, as they don't see that, they don't see like there is like a soul, you know. This is in my own words, like a soul that can go from lifetime to lifetime, that is not coming from the projection of the perceiver, of the experiencer. Okay, this one need a lot of cooking. I won't go into very detail because it's not something in a few words you can get it done. You need a lot of thinking on that. So in other words, so this one we connect to, in the last 500 years, there will be great bodhisattva that will come, and that great bodhisattva that come will be someone who have, just now the three things, isn't it? The three basket, number one, who have rendered honor not only to one Buddha, who have collected virtue not only with one Buddha, and they don't see dark, samchen, soap, and gangsa. Okay? In another words, if you don't know, I can give you a shortcut, of course, means that they anything, okay? They don't see things as having some self nature of their own that is independent of their projection. Okay, in other words, okay, it's just that you put it in different, like in self, in life, in living, in person, okay? In other words, whether it's this self, or this me and mine, or this whole life of Angela, the whole life, or Angela lifetime after lifetime, they don't see that as having some self nature of their own, independent of the projection. Okay, as simple as that. Yeah. Okay, good. That is chapter 4. And chapter 4 ends with one more note. So is there enlightenment that the Buddha reached? Is there an enlightenment that the Buddha reached? Is there a Dharma that the Buddha taught? There is no enlightenment, there is no Dharma that the Buddha can teach that is not coming from my projection, from the experiences projection, from the perceiver's projection. There's nothing. It's the same thing, coming to the same thing. There's nothing that we can experience that is not coming from our projection. The same thing for Dharma. There is no Dharma that the Buddha can teach that is not coming from my projection. The Dharma that I hear in the class right now, that I'm experiencing right now, right? There is no Dharma that I experience in the class right now that is not coming from my projection, which we can understand, right? Yeah. That is chapter 4, okay? Any question on chapter 4? Okay, good. Okay, chapter 5. Okay. Lord Buddha's asked Subhuti. Okay, Subhuti, if you cover this whole planet, we call it a system of a thousand of a thousand of a thousand planets. We cover all the planets with all these 7 precious jewels. Would that be a great mountain of merit or not? So Subhuti, Lord Buddha asked Subhuti. So Subhuti say, yeah, it's a lot of merit because they never exist. It's always the same. When they say they don't exist, means they don't exist ultimately from their own side. Okay? They don't exist ultimately from their own side. And therefore, they can exist nominally. Nominally means from my side, from my projection. Okay? So Subhuti say, yeah, they could not exist. They cannot exist ultimately because they could not exist ultimately. And therefore, we can call it a mountain of merit. And therefore, they can exist nominally for us. Okay, and then Lord Buddha asked the second question. Okay, so imagine now, suppose if you were to teach a single line of Diamond Cutter Sutra to someone, teach correctly, explain to somebody, okay, by doing this, the mountain of merit is even more countless. It's even more countless. Why? Because that is where the Buddha is born. Means that that's where the Buddha comes from. That's where you can create your own enlightenment. That's how you can create a perfect world. Higher school, we say that how things exist from our projection. Projection means we are forced by our karmic results of what we do in the past for us to project this reality. Me and my world, projection, me and my world, me and my world. Okay. And if you see from our seats, sometimes projection is definitely is the higher school, the word that they use. Okay, when you say from our seats, is to explain to you that it's coming from you. Because from our seats, sometimes we can misunderstood. From our seats in different school, they also come from our seats. They have a different way of looking at it. From your seats, you could be thinking that there's this seat, there's this way you store your seats. You know, remember the mind only school? Yeah. So the most proper word is from projection. But sometimes people don't understand what is projection. So we say it's from our seat strapping, but you need to understand your seat strapping is like that. Me and my world. It's not that, oh, it's something outside there. It's I project on it. Me and my world, me and my world. That one is to keep on working on that. Okay, just now we were on this chapter 5. Okay, Lord Buddha asked Subhuti, if we cover all the planets with the 7 precious jewels, the first example, you cover all the planets with the 7 precious jewels. Is the mountain of merit great or not? So Buddhists say, yeah, it's great because they don't exist, isn't it? That's why we can say they are great. They don't exist ultimately, but they do exist nominally. Okay? They can exist from outside. So the second example would be, suppose if you were to teach one line of Dhammapada Sutra to somebody correctly, that merit is even more greater than the first one if you cover the planets and offer to someone. The reason is why? Because that's where enlightenment is created. That's where our perfect world is created. That's where a Buddha come from. Because it's about wisdom. It's about wisdom. And we can understand that because we know that there are 2 wings of the bird, isn't it? The wisdom, the understanding of emptiness, the wisdom, make it perfect. Make whatever we are doing perfect. That's why we call it a perfectionizer. What we do, make us perfect, bring us to perfection. The 6 perfection that we do bring us to perfection. Only if we do it with the understanding of emptiness, the 2 wings of the bird, understanding that make it perfect. And the last part before we end would be, we learn about karma is also empty. Cause and effect is also empty. When we say empty, doesn't mean that there's nothing at all. When we say empty means what? It's empty of not coming from my projection, okay? The cause and the result is empty of not coming from my projection. Then you will find that it's easier for you to understand. When you say karma is empty, it's difficult to understand. How can karma be empty? How can karma be empty? You know, when I was a student, how can karma be empty? You know, yeah. So when you say empty, doesn't mean that there's nothing at all. Okay, empty means it's just that it's empty of not coming from my projection. The cause and the result is empty of not coming from my projection. And we can understand that when we think about I like this picture the most. Okay. They're connected in our mind stream. What we do is connected in our mind stream, right? So if you see that, then it's easier for you to understand. The cause and the result is connected to the mind stream. And they produce the appropriate result for us. Yeah. So it's empty of not coming from our projection. Because time is also empty. If you look at it this way, then you understand, okay. Yeah, I hope you get an aha from there. And that's it. So our 6 perfections, remember the 6 perfections? When you say the 6 perfection, always remember those are the things that a bodhisattva do, the activity of a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva will be someone with a bodhicitta, means that their mind is imbued with this wish that I want to become a Buddha in order to be able to help everybody. So their mind has already got this love in their heart. So all they need to do is to do it with the understanding of emptiness, and that make it perfect. Okay, the understanding of emptiness allow them to do this with perfection, and will be more because you understand emptiness. Then whatever you do will become more powerful. And as you do all these things, they collect the merit for you to be able to understand more emptiness. And the more you understand emptiness, whatever you do become more powerful. It's like an upward spiral. Okay, they are perfectionizer. They make you perfect. They bring you to perfection. They bring you out of your suffering right now. Okay, so that is the sixth perfection, the two wings of the bird. Okay, you do the activities of the bodhisattva, we call it the bodhisattva path, plus with the understanding of wisdom is the two wings of the bird that allow us, whatever we do, to become a perfectionizer, that make us perfect, bring us to the state of perfection. That's it. And how to do that? We say the emptiness of the three sphere. Okay? When we do something, we do it without staying. So connect back to chapter 3. I won't mention again on that. All right? So that's it. We finished chapter 1 to 5 nicely. And then we will go into chapter 6 next week. Okay. So we will do a dedication first. Yeah, Lin say yes. Okay. We'll do a dedication first. And if you have questions, I can stay. What is that, Angela?
Oh, just like you mentioned chapter 3. Chapter 3 is like giving. Giving
Yeah,
can be
without
like
staying,
without,
giving without.
without expectation. Giving, like you say, can be like a mountain.
Yeah, if you give without staying means that without seeing that person, that the three sphere, right? Me, you, and the in between, without seeing that they have any self nature of their own, that they are self-existent and not coming from the seed striking. If you can see that, then whatever we do become something that bring you extraordinary goodness, that can bring you to the four bodies of the Buddha. Yeah. That bring you to perfection, that bring you out of misery. That's what we are learning.
What you say without coming from the seed, without coming from, why you say that?
Coming from projection. Where the projection come from?
It's our past karma also, man. Our
Yeah.
seed karma is our seeds
Yeah.
also.
Yes. That's why I say that. Yeah. But if you can understand from my projection, you stay with that. That is the best way. But if you cannot understand projection, that's why I use the word from our seeds.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So let's do a dedication first. I invite you to close your eyes. Think about the goodness that we have just done in these 1.5 hours. Such a great, great goodness. I recall our intention at the beginning, our problems in life, and understanding what we learned today. We know that what we do, if we do it with the understanding that things have no nature of their own, that there is not anything that we can experience that is not coming from my projection. And that is such a great, great goodness that can bring us to the four bodies of the Buddha, that can bring us to this state of perfection, that can bring us to be free from all the problems that we see in our life right now, that can bring us to this state of happiness, bliss, ultimate happiness. And we can then go on to help others and bring them to this state of happiness. Show them how they can get to this state of happiness. And so rejoice, be happy. And we want to dedicate this and share with everyone. And by the power of the goodness that we have just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. Use straight long exhale 1 to send to the one person that you want to help. 2 to send to everyone you love. Pray to all sentient beings in the universe, wherever they are, in any realm, any parts of the universe. May they all feel with this goodness. May the light touch them and give them hope, love, wisdom. May all beings be happy, peaceful, and liberated, liberated, liberated. Now bring your mind back to the space here. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, teacher Richard. Wow, today is such a great lesson for me because I can because I didn't really attend the first few lessons, so today is a good chance for me to catch up. So
I'm happy to hear that.
yeah.
Yeah.